Yesterday's conspiracy theories, tomorrow's headlines. Most are still asleep and I ain't talking about no bedtime. The truth is not a Google search, you need to get your head right. The Greek goddess of illusion was called Media, and I'm not a coincidence theorist, I look for thread lines. Smashing every deadline, no longer smashing red wine. Though I can hear the bells chime, it feels like the end times. That probably should have been smashed on red wine, but the carnal mind is foolish. Obey and end up ghoulish. Don't get used by instinct, take control and learn to use it. Make a load of earnest music, earn a few quid, learn a few tricks. Sure, the truth is persecuted, this whole world is pure abusive. Know a bit about everything and everything about nothing. Figured out my noggin while you picture out shopping. You sit about watching while I dish it out, stop it. I don't mean to sound cocky, I'm not even proud of it. It's a second nature to me, just to be this out honest. I don't even need to sound honest, never been about profit. Everything but out on it, you can bet your house on it. Doubt I'll be out for the count when the sounds, and I'm down for the beat, no beat down. I mean, how long's it been? Help me out. I've been the only one who's held me down. All in the mind, hell freeze now. Still sick with it, healthy how? Few bars down and the world freaked out. I don't reach out, I seek out to speak out. I'ma recount the reasons they beat out.
Good evening, my dear friends and family. I'm your host of the 509 Divine Pines podcast, Joseph Daniel Pena, and it is March 2nd, 2023. We are going through a crazy ride this year. I mean, honestly, already, aliens, we got balloons, we got earthquakes, things in the sky, just oh my god. It is not a bird, it is not a plane, and it is not Superman. It is just wild. And I think headed towards the future, we're going to start seeing a lot more crazy stuff. And to help us today with all of that, we just need to be grounded and spiritually focused, sharp, and believing in ourselves, trusting the light, and being strong. And today's guest, Cheri Arellano, can help us with that. Cheri Arellano is on a mission to share her inner light with humanity and assist awakening souls in thriving with their divine inner wisdom. Her focus is getting on to the core of the world and integrating their inner divinity so they can too. You can shine their light. Her clients are really awakened humans, advanced souls, and starseeds from all around the world. Over her studied ascension, meditation, energy fields, inner child healing, healing with crystals and essential oils, and energy healing modalities such as Reiki. The emotion code, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
And emotional freedom technique. She is a certified crystalline healing light and quantum psionics healer and helps her clients clear bad habits and dark energies, old trauma, expired soul contracts by offering healings, frequency upgrades, and starseed readings so they can embody more joy, self-love, and compassion. She offers comprehensive soul mentorships and wellness programs for those who are ready to free their soul and raise their frequency. Book a free discovery and go to her website, Divine Light Codes. You can also find her on YouTube. Check her Linktree, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and much more like Twitter. Hey, Cheri, how's it going? Sorry, this is like new light focused in front of my face, and it's so bothering. I didn't think about it. I gotta lower this.
Oh, that's okay. You did a pretty good job.
I was
A
like
lot of big words
blinded.
in there.
No, I was just so blinded half the time. I was like, oh my God, I was trying to see through the light.
Next time we'll put like captions on the screen.
Yeah, no, well, honestly, I probably could have upgraded the text and highlighted it and made it bigger, but yeah, I didn't do that.
That's all right. That's
Hey,
all right. It's just words. People get to know me tonight, hopefully through the show.
it's been about a few years since I've talked to you, and honestly, I'm looking forward to this. The last time I talked to you, I was in such a dark place, battling drug addictions, and I was really, literally going through my wake up, my new awakening. Literally, like I think my pineal gland and everything that I was doing, like I barely got crystals. It was just opening me up to newer dimensions, and I was feeling a whole bunch of bad energy around me. Like, I mean, I was seeing things. I was literally seeing spirits and crafts flying around me at night, and it was wild. Like, I was just in a really, really interesting place, and I knew it wasn't just like my imagination. I knew, because of my own studies here in this Yakima Valley, that hey, there's some real energy going on, and if you open yourself up through these entheogens, yeah, you can put yourself into some weird places. But thankfully, because of you and your healing work, I literally have been on a blessed journey, trusting in myself more than ever. I always think back to our conversation and believing in myself and putting up that protective aura, and just knowing that if I trust and believe in myself and the divine essence of what this all is all about, what life is all about, and what we shouldn't be missing. Sometimes we forget, sometimes the environment crowds us, like what's been going on over the last few years for humanity. I know that they will find an enlightening time, just like I've had an enlightening time with you, and I appreciate you. And from a first-hand experience, all my viewers, honestly, you can trust her. She's amazing.
Thank you so much, Joseph. That really means a lot to me. Yeah, I think it was like at least 2 or 3 years ago. And I remember your healing session because you sat outside, and you were the first person who actually did it outside. And we closed a portal that you had on your property. I don't know if you remember that. But yeah, you had told me that like you were having all these experiences, and we did a lot of healing on you. And then we also closed a portal on your property.
Yeah, you were actually one of the first people to help clarify that they were vortexes. Because look, my whole life I've had these weird dreams about some guides up in the sky, heavenly guides, and my house, and them saying, hey man, you live on some vortexes, and showing me over time and time again these different energies that have been here. And I'm like, my whole life I'm like, what does this all mean? I'm all, young, just ignorant. Man, this isn't real, is it? But no, you thankfully came across in this journey and helped me understand myself as a starseed. And I believe you can help my viewers know more about that. What is a starseed?
That's a great question. Yeah, it's a kind of a popular topic right now, I feel like, in the conscious community and even in the like ET community. A starseed is basically a human whose soul was originally created off planet. So your soul did not originate on Earth. Your soul originated on a different star system's planet. So it could be, for example, Andromeda or the Pleiades or Sirius or Venus, and then there's a whole bunch of planets that we don't have names for. So your soul's incarnation could even be outside of the known galaxies. But I work with, people all the time who come to me and say, hey, I think I'm a starseed, or someone told me I was a starseed, and I just want to confirm and find out where my soul originated. So I'll do what I call starseed originations reading for them, and we ask like where their soul was originally seated, and then what other star systems or planets they had lifetimes on that were significant in their soul's history, because star seeds are 15 billion years old. We've been around the block quite a bit. And so it's not realistic to think like you've only incarnated and reincarnated in the same star system or even planet over and over and over. So, you know, we have like a huge mission, especially on Earth right now. Like a lot of star seeds are on Earth right now to help with the planet's ascension. And so a lot of people who are star seeds are feeling this call. It's like a pull in your heart to wake up, or to help humanity, or to help your neighbor, or to do something good in the world. Like they're starting to see through this false veil, the matrix, as you know, as it's known. And they're starting to want to really get to the truth. So a lot of star seeds start out as truth seekers. That's kind of how I started on this spiritual journey. And once you start to learn these truths about, you know, what systems we're actually living in, then, you know, the questions keep coming, and further down the rabbit hole do we go, Alice. And, you know, and then eventually, you know, you might come around to feel like hearing that inner voice that says, yeah, I never really fit in. I don't fit in with my family, or I've always felt like an outsider, or I don't feel like I belong here, or I have memories of life in this, you know, misty, dark world. You know, it wasn't blue skies and sunny all the time. Like people have memories of past lives and stuff like that in a world that looks totally different. So, you know, you might have that inner calling knowing that you are a star seed, or you may suspect you're a star seed, and you can find out more. Find out what your mission here on this planet is, and see if you want to do it. Some star seeds are just here to hold the light. You know, we all carry divine light codes, and some of us, it's our job to just be on the planet, and then the light frequencies that we carry affect those around us. You don't have to do anything. You can be a school teacher, or a postman, or a doctor, or a lawyer, or whatever, you know, or a gardener, and still be a star seed, you know. But more often than not, it's usually that they're very high functioning, and they like want to do something. They feel a call to help humanity lift.
And we might hear things like rainbow children, indigo children, crystal children, and I think the people who have this bright, optimistic energy to change the world, you know, you see bright-eyed children who are very also passionate. I mean, that's me as a kid, and, you know, sometimes still me during the day. And honestly, it's just this nature that we have. I guess a lot of humanity can relate. This is how we've been over thousands of years. I would say it's a mix between what you had just said. You know, we have a lot of trauma. Humanity has a lot of trauma. It's been that way for thousands of years. When we come into this place, Earth, it's not our original domain, I don't believe. And a mix of what Graham Hancock says, we're a species of amnesia. We come from the stars, but we don't really know where it is. It's a age of confusion. I mean, there is an age of information that's mixed with it, but there is also a lot of confusion. We see that there are some powers that be that just want to confuse us, and it causes us trauma. It doesn't allow us to really know where we come from, and that's where you come along. You see that there's so much trauma in this world. You're healing the star seeds, and you're bringing them forth. They're becoming healers, and then what we do is what we heal the afflicted. And honestly, you can talk way more about this. What type of methods of healing do you provide?
So all the healing I do is energetic healing. I mean, I do create healing tools as well. So those are like physical tools, things that you can do for yourself at home, after the session is over. They're kind of like tools or reminders. But when I'm doing a session with someone, it's almost always just energy work. However, I also do some like heart-centered listening and inner child trauma work, which is a combination of like talking and listening and also energy work. But primarily I do energy work. And so I studied a bunch of healing modalities on my journey, my awakening journey. And I kind of, it found me, I think.
So let's go ahead and talk about this.
Yeah,
Let's talk about your journey, how you all got into this. What your first moment of understanding our multidimensional nature, and the floor
so
is
do you want
yours.
me to talk about my healings, or do you want me to talk about my
The
journey?
journey into the healings. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, of course.
Well, so it's a really long story, but I'll try to give you a condensed version. So I feel like I've had, at least 2 awakenings in this body in this lifetime on Earth. And the first one was in 2001 when I went to India for 4 months. I went to India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Egypt. And Egypt was the last part of our trip, and we were there for 2 weeks. And I feel like I had an ascent, like a activation in Egypt, and we came back from that trip feeling really called to help Gaia, Mother Earth. And so I started an eco-conscious design agency called Conscious Creative. And we were the first green certified creative agency in San Francisco in 2002. And we offered all creative services like design, video, photography, websites, everything. And I did that for 20 years. And my sole mission was to like stop cutting down trees, stop using chemicals, tell, big agencies to like cut it out. And I would have my clients like sign contracts saying that they would use recycled papers and soy-based inks and, digital photography versus film. And so that was like my first awakening. And then in 2012, I had my second awakening. And that's when I started to feel a call to help humanity on a more intimate one-on-one level versus helping the planet. And, so I've always been like a green eco mama. And now I'm like more into the spiritual side of things. And I started studying meditation and, all that stuff you listed in my bio. But what happened was I had a friend, a really good friend, who started telling me about her abduction stories. And she said it like really matter of factly. And I was like, what? You've been abducted? What? ETs are real? This was 2012 or 2013. And I remember feeling that charge of like nervousness and like, oh my God, she has no reason to lie to me. I need to go look into this. Right. So I went down the rabbit hole and I started researching ETs and life on other planets and abductions and yada, yada, yada. And so I would say that was like my really big awakening. And that Gaia TV came online really, like, I think in 2013, it came online really shortly thereafter. And those were the days of like David Wilcock and Corey Good and like, all those people on Gaia TV. So I was watching them. I went to Contact in the Desert like 4 years in a row. So I would say I had my own contact experience in Joshua Tree and also in Mount Shasta. I had a 90-minute contact experience in Mount Shasta. And I have video footage of it on my YouTube channel, the Ascension Sessions. And, and it was just like all of it was happening at once. So it was like my mind was being blown open. I was learning healing modalities. And for 5 years, I think I walked around like, what am I here to do? What is my soul purpose? What is my mission? And I was like driving myself crazy because I knew I had to do something else, but I didn't know what it was yet. And so I feel like a lot of starseeds or light workers, or even just people waking up, start feeling like, hey, Claire, thanks for joining. One of my essential oil mentors just joined the room. Thank you so much for being here, Claire. So anyways, I was saying like, that's when I kind of went down the rabbit hole and started like learning about mind expanding things. And I started learning about EFT tapping, the emotion code, and quantum psionics, and ultimately the crystalline healing light, which those are the two main energy healing modalities that I do now, along with the essential oils and the crystals. So so that was kind of like the condensed version of the awakening story. And, you know, through, what is it now, 2023? So I guess that's like 12 years, 12, 13 years. Through the past 12 or 13 years, I've also had my own awakening stories and struggles, you know, like dark nights of the soul and psychic attacks, and dealing with learning the lessons of mentors and narcissists. And, you know, I actually had 2 different mentors who were narcissists. And so that was like a reoccurring lesson that I had to learn in this lifetime, which was really fascinating. And come to find out, I'm pretty sure my dad was a narcissist, even though I didn't really know him that well, because he died when I was only 9 years old. But it's kind of interesting how life like puts this lesson in front of you repeatedly until you really get it, until you really learn it, you know? And now I feel like I'm an expert. So I was told by my guides that like, you won't have to go through this lesson again. So I'm kind of hoping that's true. So if you want to ask me about narcissists, I can talk about that too.
Oh, we don't have to go there. We see those all over politics, all over social media. We're controlled by them. It is a cruel world. But today we are talking about the healing. And so, psionic healing, all right, I'll be real. You had mentioned abduction cases. And quantum psionic, to me, it's just like, it sounds very important. As far as comparing to how we're getting psionically attacked from the outside, like abductions, I think that we're being hit and attacked by all these hidden different realms around the world, dimensions, some would say. I mean, I even know that there's technology that lay above us. You know, some people get EMF attacks, and it's just not a fun thing. If we don't see it, why should it be hitting us? But it is, and you can help heal people in the unseen ways. And I believe with crystals, is that right?
Well, crystals are part of the work that I do. It's probably not in the way that you're imagining it, where it's like, here's a physical crystal and I'm waving it over you. It's not like that. It's, you know, everything has energy, right? Like, this glass has energy. This microphone has energy. This crystal has energy, right? And so I can send you the frequency, the healing frequency of this crystal to you remotely. And that's where the quantum piece comes in. So in quantum healing, quantum means non-local, right? So my higher self can tap into the healing frequency of this crystal, this quartz crystal, which is the highest frequency of all the crystals. And I can transmit it to you through my energetic field. And if your higher self is receptive and willing and open to receive the healing frequencies, then our higher selves communicate. And my higher self goes, hey, do you want this healing? And you go, yeah, I do. And then like I transmit the healing frequencies of that crystal to you. So that's one way that I work. But quantum psionics, so quantum means non-local energy, And psionics means the power of the mind or the intentions, right? So through our intentions, the power of words, the power of thought forms, the power of intention, we can heal on multiple levels. In fact, the work that I do helps people heal their ancestral lineage and ancestral DNA. So if you heal a trauma of poverty or not feeling worthy today, it's going to heal your ancestral lineage in the past, and it's going to heal your children in the future. So you're connected to your ancestors and your descendants energetically, because we have holographic DNA in our DNA, not just physical DNA. And so when you heal that holographic DNA, you're healing your lineage in both directions. And so that's kind of like what the quantum means in the quantum psionics. So it's really about intention, breaking cords, breaking chips and implants. So you mentioned that we're all being attacked. And it's true. I feel like a lot of us are under attack, especially light workers. And there's a lot of invisible forces or powers that be that we can't see. If you believe in different dimensions, different realities, there's the third dimension where we live now. There's the fourth dimension, which is like the astral realm, where we go when we sleep and dream, and also where we go when we cross over, when we die or transition. And then there's the fifth dimension, sixth dimension. It goes all the way up, at least to the 12th, possibly even higher to the 19th or 20th. So when we go to sleep at night and we go into the fourth dimension or the astral realm, our soul leaves our body. They're still tethered with a cord, but we're interacting with other beings in the fourth dimension. Not always good ones. Sometimes they're dark beings, sometimes they're reptilian, sometimes they're gray aliens, sometimes they're angels, and they are good. Sometimes it's our starseed family, our soul family from our origination planet. And in those realms, when you're in your light body, things can happen to you. Etheric chips and implants can be inserted, devices that are used to kind of keep you down. I know another light worker on TikTok who's an Arcturian starseed, and she was saying that the Galactic Federation of Light put a device over her crown chakra so that she was kind of held down, because this is where we connect to God, right? So if you've got a gateway or a gate or a fence blocking your frequency above your crown chakra, your connection to God can be not cut, but kind of like messed with, like reduced, I would say, because I don't think we're ever fully cut off from God, but I think that it can be messed with. I went off a little bit on a tangent there.
No, definitely. No, that's where we want to go. I appreciate that. I do think that it can be messed with and influenced and interfered with. You have this soul path that we are born with, and if all these different energies are trying to come and throw you off with their agenda, then there's these hidden entities. They definitely want to interfere with your energy. Some would call it loose jacking. Sam Tripoli always says that. Loose energy, your ki, your prana. If there are some vampiric type entities out there, you would definitely be a target with your energy. We humans have this special energy inside of us, this divine energy that we were born with, and that's why we are targeted. We have this light and this soul that others just do not have, and it shines bright in us. You help us get there with meditation. And how does that happen? What do you focus with?
what do I focus with in terms
with
of
meditation? When you want to help someone through meditation and guide them through meditation, how would you do this?
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that because I did a TikTok video today about grounding meditations, and I feel like collectively we all need more grounding right now. Like there's a lot of fear in the collective. It's March. This is when COVID hit, this month, and there's people saying, "Oh, something bad's coming," or "This is going to happen," or "That's going to happen." And so I feel like collectively we're kind of bracing ourselves. And like I woke up at 2 a.m. last night, like so angry. I felt like the Phoenix in that movie, The Phoenix, The Rise of the Phoenix, or whatever, the Marvel movie. And I was like, okay, this is obviously root chakra stuff coming up. I had this like fear energy in my, like running through my body, and anger, fear and anger, fear and anger. I woke up at 2 a.m. So I don't know if something happened in the astral realm, but I knew that my root chakra was being triggered, and I had this like security, safety feeling, kind of like was out of balance. And so today I did a TikTok about grounding because I feel like we all need to really understand how to ground our cords. Like we all have an energetic light body. It's like this big bubble of light all around us. And you can send a grounding cord down into the center of the earth, the crystalline iron core, center of the earth, to ground your energy field to Gaia, because Gaia is a planet, but it's also a living being. She has a consciousness and energy field that we can connect to because she is our mother. Like this is Mother Earth, right? And we're all children of Earth. Even though we might be starseeds, we incarnated here in this lifetime. And so we can connect to her. It's kind of like a baby and a mother having that umbilical cord connection. Well, we have an energetic umbilical cord to Gaia, and we can ground. And when you work on that root chakra and grounding, you start to feel more safe. You start to feel a stronger sense of security. That's where we have the root chakra controls like safety, security, having a roof over your head, knowing that you're going to pay your rent. It also rules your financial stability situation. It rules feeling safe with your partner or your loved one or your best friend or whoever you're with most of the time. Like, do you really trust them? Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe out in the world? So one of the things I like to do is teach a really strong grounding meditation, because most people don't know how to ground really securely and deeply to come out and have that grounding cord connected to the core, like for the whole day or the whole week or 3 days or however long you need. And there are dark beings who can come along, and if you're not grounded, they'll just zap your energy. That's another reason it's important to ground, because when your field is shielded and you're grounded, nothing can penetrate your field, and if you're hanging out with, the wrong crowd, or you're walking through a part of town that's not super high vibration, things will try to attach to you. So when we go out in the world, we have to be protected and grounded, and we have to be shielded. And that's just the world we live in right now.
Our energy fields are very important. I 100% agree. We have to be grounded. I go out there in my backyard and just walk out barefoot while my dogs are doing their thing, and I, hang with the garden, mess with the garden, tender to it, and it's definitely so refreshing. I mean, literally, if I wake up a little tired, I'll go out there and I'll just be so energized. It'll be like midday cup of coffee type of energy. I'm like, ooh, all right. And if it's late night and I'm feeling just drained, I'll go outside and do the same thing, and it's just awesome. I feel so refreshed. I actually had a friend in my daily life about 15 yeah, 10 years ago, somewhere around there. And one of the things he would say is that he was very spiritual. He would say that he could see people's auras and their color and the mood they're in. And it's very, very interesting that he was the only person that I ever heard say that. I mean, he was also, hanging out, smoking some cannabis with me, and it was great. We had some peaceful conversations, very enlightening. I definitely found those conversations very enlightening, and
Our dogs
I always thought about
can
it.
see our auras too. Our dogs, our pets, or cats and dogs, animals in general, they can usually see our aura color. They can't speak, but like if you're angry and you come rushing into the room, your dog's going to be like, I'm going to go hide in this corner because they can see your field color. So it's kind of interesting.
I love it. I just actually had a conversation with a friend earlier, about an hour ago, right at the gym, about how we have these abilities to see in different dimensions through entheogens. I harp on this all the time. The entheogenic nature of ourselves allows us to see into these different spectrums, and that is where animals usually lay. They actually see those type of things all day. They don't even need entheogens.
Right.
And well, for us, emotions are part of the auras. I mean, if our dogs can see it, they definitely love us. They love us when we're happy, and humans can see the same thing. That brings me into what you call the emotion code and the emotional freedom technique. That's very important with our aura and our energy field and controlling it, correct?
Yeah, those are healing modalities actually that I kind of touched on them. I learned them briefly, but I didn't get certified or go all the way through the training. But I can tell you what they are. So
absolutely.
EFT tapping, or emotional freedom technique, it's like neuralistic programming, NLP, with tapping. So our body has meridian points all over it, like kind of like acupuncture, acupressure points. And so the idea is that if you tap on that meridian point while you're saying an affirmation or something that is true or something that you want to happen, that your body responds. So you could say like, I really had a shitty day. Today was so shitty. I can't believe today was so shitty. Like that's a really bad example. But so you go through the whole like tapping sequence. There's like, I think 7 points or 8 points that you tap on, and you just keep acknowledging that you had a bad day, because by voicing it and feeling it and allowing it, you're acknowledging it. You're saying, okay, this happened. I see you. I feel you. And it feels good. It's like a relief to say, yeah, today was really not a good day. And then you go through another round. You might do that for 1 or 2 rounds, and then you come in with the positive. So you say, even though today was not a good day, I learned something today, and I learned something today, and I grew. My spirit grew today. I learned a really valuable lesson, and so then you find the positive, and then in the next round, you could state what that thing is that you learned. So I learned today that there's good in everyone, even though this person hurt me, I saw their good side too. Like, so you go through a positive round, or you can say like, I learned today that I can trust myself. Now I know the signals that my body gives me, and I know how to trust myself. So you go through this tapping sequence while you're saying these affirmations. So that's EFT. It's very effective. There's people who are certified in it. It works. People swear by it. So you can always look up an EFT practitioner in your area if it sounds interesting to you. And then the emotion code is similar. It's been a while since I did it, but there's no tapping involved. But you use a pendulum, and you rate different emotions on a scale, and you ask a lot of yes and no qualifying questions. And through these questions, you can get to the root cause of a problem if you want to know. Like, let's say your dad was a narcissist. You can keep asking qualifying questions, and you can say, well, was my dad a reptilian? Like, you can go really deep and ask crazy questions and get to the root of an issue through the emotion code. And then there's ways to clear it. You clear the emotion out of the spine and the brain and the cortex using crystals and magnets at the end of it. So you go through this like series of questions, and if there's an emotion code person watching this video and I'm not explaining it perfectly, please forgive me, because I'm not certified in that. But it's a really interesting modality to check out if someone's on a journey and they're trying to figure out what method they want to use for healing. I wanted to answer Claire's question. She said, please explain if you can remotely help someone who's being attacked by military mind control. That's a deep question, Claire. It depends, I think, would be my answer, because there's a device, like an actual physical device that they made. It's called do you know about it, Joseph? It's called like the skull of God, the voice of God, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Voice of God, voice to school, voice to school technology.
The device that they use, for
it's
mind
like
control. It's
EMF waves, like attached.
Right. It's like those cops who like read your speed, those radar guns. It's like that, but it's voice to skull technology, and they can beam a message to your brain. So they speak into this device and they say, you feel suicidal today. Today you feel suicidal, don't you? Oh, you should just go, whatever. They can send messages to your brain with this device. So in that case, Claire, I don't think I could help them, because it's like a direct weapon. It's a direct energy attack on that person, and they're usually told to do this repeatedly for days and days and days until the person just really does suffer through this process. And there have been cases of people getting out of it, but I don't know the details or how they did it. It sounds like you're talking about an implant.
Yes, so there is a few different ways of this. There's direct energy weapons, then there's the implants, and there's also the frequencies. I learned that our phones can emit frequencies that alter our brain's thinking and change our patterns. And then, there's those entities that lay dormant. I actually do think that occult magic is ran at some level on a list of society members to target them with spiritual dark forces, just because they're, let's just say, against the oppressors, right? So they definitely want to target them with dark demons and stuff through spiritual magic.
Yeah, I mean, the military knows how to manipulate energy. They know how to put implants in as both etheric and physical, and they know how to mind control us. So that's definitely happening. And it could be an implant, or it could be an attachment, like a lower dimensional entity that's attached. Usually, if you're hearing voices in your head, it's usually a lower dimensional entity that's attached to you, that's in your field. And the numbing of the mind could be like brain fog, or just like, it could be I'd have to understand more what you're saying, but it could be like a shutting down of the mind where he just can't think straight, or maybe it's brain fog and it's difficult to think. But yeah, there are definitely, I do remove chips and implants out of people all the time, both physical and etheric. So the etheric ones can be put in usually by an ET device. I mean, an ET who's like, they just like beam into your space. You don't see them. Boop, they put the chip in and they're out. It can happen when you're sleeping. It can happen anywhere. And then the physical ones, are usually happening in abduction cases and also when you're sleeping. So, and probably in the military. I mean, once you are in the military, they can put whatever they want in you. You have to get every vaccine on the list.
Yeah, I had 13 vaccines in my hip. My hip was numb for 3 days. And, I just learned about some technology with this new shoddy shot that, everybody in the whole world nearly got in the last few years, is that it had the capability of, like, controlling your mind through the frequencies that it can emit. Like, it can literally not just only change your DNA, but like these technologies inside of us, they literally have the ability to just like control your thinking now, to change the patterns within your electrical system and just like completely alter it through massive pulsing. Because they do have chips that have satellite technology to the sky, and these AIs and agendas and these programs that the military industrial complex runs, it's not always for us. And it's kind of wild. I think that when we look at movies like Resident Evil, I actually just heard that Resident Evil had the backing of the military in its creation. I mean, a couple years ago I watched it, and it was like, I was like, man, this is so conspiracy related. This must be like backed by some people. And lo and behold, I did find out that. But it goes into it where like we're being zombified and turned into these traumatic beings, these addictive beings, these dark, cold people out there. I mean, I look at a lot of the world. I mean, it's not everybody, but you do see sometimes some very just dark, cold, inanimate beings. It seems like they're plagued with demons, and it's a rough thing. You look at some of the celebrities; it's the same way. It's not really our fault, but we are trying our best to heal. And we can't really heal from something that we don't talk about, that we don't openly admit is in front of our face. I know for a long time I was in denial about a lot of these things. I was like, no, it can't be true. And that's what causes a lot of this trauma. I know that, I would go to sleep at night and be like, no, man, is this really all true? And a lot of people experience that. And you offer the healing. It's a great thing to be able to do. We're changing the frequencies, and you say that we get frequency upgrades. Is that correct? What do you like to talk about that? Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. Absolutely. So Claire, we can definitely talk after. I would love to help. See if I can help. And hi, Dragon Rose. Thank you so much for joining. It's great to see you in the chat room. So you asked me about frequency raising. Yes. So in my healing work, I'm able to measure the frequency of your emotions. It's kind of like the human scale of consciousness, which is like 0 through 700. But in my work, I do 0 through 100, and I can measure your emotions around joy, or fear, or love, or abundance, or life's purpose, or negativity, stress, etc. Grief, guilt, shame, blame, all the emotions. And what that tells us is that the lower the frequency, the more healing needs to be done in that area or in that emotion. You may have a lot of guilt or grief if someone passed away in your life recently. And so we set the intentions for the healing to heal those particular issues or emotions or trauma. And then usually it raises your frequency by the end of the healing. So we measure again afterwards, and we can see almost always a significant shift in the frequency and vibration of the person after the healing. So it's pretty cool. And why do we want to have a high frequency or a high vibration? Because again, going back to what I was saying earlier, when we're in our highest and best selves, when our frequency is high, nothing can touch you. You're just a pure light being, and things just bounce off of you, you know? And you're going to get better downloads. You're going to hear the messages from your guides. You're going to feel your intuition kick online. You're going to like get on your path, if you will, because you're kind of operating in your highest and best selves. And that's what we want. That's what this ascension is all about. It's about ascending and evolving humanity's evolution to the next best thing. But that thing is ourselves. It's the better version of ourselves. So how do we, walk this path in our highest and best selves?
And you may do things like Reiki. There's a question in the chat saying what Cheri is speaking about kind of sounds similar to Reiki ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's kind of a statement, but it's also kind of a question.
Yeah, that was from a while ago, so I don't remember what I was speaking about.
No, I mean this is just from your bio. You practice Reiki and you offer Reiki healings.
No, I don't. I studied Reiki 1, but I don't do Reiki. Reiki didn't resonate. Well. Yeah, sorry. Reiki didn't resonate with me. So when I came across quantum psionics and the crystalline healing light, that resonated with me way more. And I feel like it's very different, and it's like on a totally different wavelength. I also considered, I looked into shamanism and Reiki when I was on my healing journey, and it felt like when you're a shaman, you're working very closely to the earth energies, and you're working in the 3D and sometimes 2D, and sometimes lower dimensionals. And so think of like a shaman as somebody who has to like go down, lift the person up out of a lower dimension, and then raise them up. And they also work very cosmically. They work with the higher dimensional frequencies. But personally, like I wanted to be in 5D and up all the time. So the work that I do is very 5th dimension. I work 5th dimension and higher, most of the time in the 12th dimension. So I work with a board, and it has different portals on it to the 7th, the 9th, and 12th dimension. And that's where I like to run my energy, if that makes sense.
Yes, up there in the higher dimensions, we may experience things like angels and archangels. Could you relate to my viewers the same? What else would you interact with?
I work with archangels all the time. I work with Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and Archangel Gabriel. And I call them in for every single session. Archangel Michael is the angel who's mostly responsible for cutting cords that don't serve you, any energy entanglements that are not for your highest and best good. He also cuts any like lower dimensional entities out of your field. It's like a tune-up and a clearing. He comes in, he clears, everything that needs to be removed, so that you can be your highest and best self. Because ultimately, like, I'm the vessel, I'm the messenger. I'm not the one necessarily healing you. It's your higher self and your guides and your angels. So I'm kind of like the orchestrator of the healing session.
I love it. I pray to the archangels too. And I'd say in the times of my life where I wasn't interacting with my spirituality and praying, I was definitely lost and dark, and it seems so woo-woo half the time, but I am a firm believer of the multidimensional reality, and I understand its existence. I believe a lot of my viewers are seeking out to understand more, and we provide that light. And one of the questions here is, what type of crystals should someone have essentially in their home?
Oh, all of them. All the crystals.
That might cost a lot of money.
Yeah. It depends what you're trying to focus on. That's a great question. If you're trying to clear any negative energy out of your home, let's say you have a roommate or a family member who, I don't know, they always seem to have a lot of negative energy going on, and maybe they're into some weird stuff and it doesn't quite vibe with you. I would get some tourmaline. I would get some black obsidian or shungite. Shungite is one of the most powerful cleansers. And any of the black crystals are great at clearing out negative energy in the home. And you could put it either in the center of your home, or you could put like one by the front door, one by the back door, the entrance of the home. Or in your bedroom, if you just like, if you have a roommate situation going on, keep it close to you. Quartz crystal is also great. Quartz crystal is a amplifier. It's a powerful amplifier. It's a healer. It connects to, the higher dimensions, and it's just awesome for overall healing. If you're meditating, it's an amplifier. So it's going to help you connect to your guides or God source energy faster. Rose quartz is also great for heart healing. It's for the heart chakra. It's for love, romance, compassion, self-love. If you are working on self-worth issues or self-esteem, get some rose quartz, meditate with it, sleep with it on your heart. Another really good one to have in your house is amethyst. Amethyst is like frankincense. It's like the king of oils. Amethyst is the queen of crystals because amethyst does so many things. It does it helps you with grounding. It helps you with protection. It helps you with opening your third eye and connecting to your guides, and, opening your crown chakra, connection to God source energy. So if I had to like have a desert island crystal, it might be amethyst and or quartz crystal and frankincense.
and that leads into one of the topics I was going to discuss. So you mentioned healing with crystals and essential oils, and me, I just happened to learn over the last few years how all those things in the Bible just aren't random things. No, frankincense, myrrh, and the 12 gemstones of Aaron's chest plate. Frankincense and myrrh, cannabis, cardamom, and cinnamon. I think it's cardamom, something like that. There's like 5 oils that create this holy oil that Jesus was using. What type of tonics and elixirs do you provide? We have about 5 minutes here before the break.
Okay. So I make my own divinely guided blends. I call them elixirs because anytime you put a crystal in a liquid, that liquid becomes an elixir. It takes on the properties of the crystals. So as we just discussed, crystals have healing properties and the oils have healing properties. So I align them to focus on a particular emotion or issue. So I have a chakra balancing line that addresses 10 of our chakras. So there's one for grounding, root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, heart for love, throat for speaking your truth, third eye for opening your intuition, and crown for your divine connection to God. And then I have a whole other line that's an emotional line. And that one addresses different emotions. So it has like a protection oil, it has a focus oil, it has a love oil, just like 10 different emotions. And so I encourage people to use the oils at home, like in the morning or right before bed, or if they're feeling an emotion come up, you can It's a roller bottle. You can roll it or rub it right on your wrist, blah, and inhale deeply into the body, and you say the affirmation. There's an affirmation on the bottle, like I am love, for example. And so you do that 3 times, and it's kind of like a reset. It's really amazing. The olfactory system is the fastest way to healing through our brain. So when you smell an essential oil, it takes 30 seconds to hit your brain. And because everything is energy, your brain goes, oh, that's rose oil. I know that frequency. It's the highest frequency in all of the oils and all of the flowers. And your body has cellular intuitive memory. And so your body knows what to do with that rose essential oil. And the healing begins immediately after 30 seconds. It's amazing. So that's what I do with my oil. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. How much do they cost for my viewers?
I should have one to show you guys, because they're these like little roller bottles. I think I have some right here. Let's see. Let's go with these.
For all my viewers, go to your website, divinelightcodes.com.
Yes, that's it.
And purchase these.
They're really awesome. So 2 of my best customers are actually in the chat room, Dragon Rose and Claire Yarrington, who is the queen of oils. If you guys have oils questions, she can answer anything. This right here is I Am Confident. And this is has tiger's eye in the bottle and in the roller ball itself. I don't know if you can see that. That's tiger's eye. And so this is for people who have low self-esteem, their solar plexus is blocked, they have a hard time standing up for themselves, or they have a hard time speaking in a room full of people. They have a hard time going up to their boss and saying, I deserve a raise. Whatever it is, they're kind of more introverted and shy, and they don't advocate for themselves. So I designed this blend to help people who need to stand in their power and use their divine will. So both tiger's eye and the oils help with that issue. This one is called I Am Peaceful, and these are bamboo lids. This one has quartz crystal in the bottle and in the roller ball also. And I Am Peaceful, I designed in 2020 when COVID hit, because I was like, man, the world needs more peace. So this has hinoki wood oil in it, which is from Japan, and a bunch of other stuff. And this one I designed to bring more peace into the world, because I felt like everybody was kind of flailing. So you can rub it on your throat chakra. You can rub it on your third eye. You can rub it on your wrists. And then you just breathe it down deeply, and you exhale and you say, I am peaceful. And the smells are amazing. By the way, I only use doTERRA oils in all of my blends. And doTERRA is the highest quality essential oil you can buy on the market right now, in my opinion. So they're all certified therapeutic grade or food grade oils. They actually make a cardamom oil you mentioned. And they have frankincense, myrrh, cardamom, all the ones you mentioned. But I have a blend called I Am Sacred, which is a sacral chakra balancing oil blend, and it has cardamom in it and frankincense, and it's one of my favorite. It's actually my favorite oil. So maybe I did create the Jesus oil and not know it, because that one has like sandalwood, I think, frankincense, cardamom, and maybe orange or something like that.
Well, when we do work with the archangels, I do think that we are experiencing traditions of ancient energies that have been upon our human nature for thousands of years. I roughly think also that West Coast has a huge part in this. I believe back in the 70s, part of the revolution of consciousness, also had this thing with God and bringing God back to the forefront, and you know what we are over here in the West Coast is very spiritual, and I can see it, and you can see it in me. All my viewers see it in us, and with that, I appreciate the essential oils. We are going to head to break now. So, hey, everybody, thank you for hanging along. Like, subscribe, share, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your dog, and grab your bong, and we'll be right back.
Not new, what I do. I've been at it for a minute, pursuing, doing the damage new. I would do everything that I said I would do. I gotta have it, so goddamn it, I'ma be everything I plan to be. Glad to see money coming my way, believe I'll achieve anything I put my mind to, or at least I try to. I'm avoiding my doom, manifesting my room. Meditate to ease the flow. Third eye open, see the golden energy. It can enter me, get me to feeling full. Forget my enemies, dead to me, yeah, I proceed to go to a new dimension. Gotta mention it's inside of soul. Go inside, fuck the outside. Never tell lies, show pride for belief. Gotta keep the range wide, so instead I just write another hit. Getting fried, rolling up, smoke another blunt for the good times. Good times, bad times makes for the good rhymes. So it never matters, I just learned, no I can't hide. Thank God for every second was birthed with the mind of an ancient soul who's just waiting for the next sign. I'm always watching, vision like a hawk, heaven flocking. When I drop it, the talking have them knocking. The knowledge that I'm dropping, I'm coming out the noggin. I'm logged in. That's the intuition, nothing wrong with. Doing what you feel is right, everybody got this. Usually feel it in the night when I'm dropping knowledge. Never even needed any college, abolish. People telling people what they want, I do not wish. Control over anybody, do it for the profit. That's the reason that they push it, do it from the cockpit. Cause they got the money, want the money on the mob shit. On the mob shit. But I know they ain't gon' make it, shit is poppin'. At the end of time, new age topics. Revolutionary crusade cross. Here we go to a new space. Yeah, we enter in a new place. Louis V on my shoelace, rolling with the blue face. Yeah, I'm wondering what you chase. Just another dude caught up in the rat race. Moving my pace, lot of people looking at me sideways. I chase future preparations, gotta go through my phase till I feel ready to rearrange it. Happen on a daily basis, tripping oasis. When so many people that I can't see through their faces and touch, so I'm reading minds, feel like I'm evasive, persuasive. Cause I feel the vibe, manipulation, I'm patient. Yeah, I feel the vibe, then work to change it. Manifestation, blessings is what I'm chasing. Quantum physics, I'm about to take the time and rearrange it. I play with reality, can't feel like I'm basic. Most people shut it down, don't wanna embrace it. Replacing knowledge.
Hello. Welcome back, my dear friends and fam. Hey, go check out my new sponsor over at Heart and Soil Project. Hey, he is awesome. He has seeds, fertilizer, and cool hemp apparel, everything that you need to get your year off right. It's about planting time. Springtime's coming up near, and boy, oh boy, you want everything grade A. You don't want that lame stuff that everybody else has. Get that exotic, get that special, and use my coupon code 509DP and thank me later. We are back. Hey, Cheri, how's it going?
Good. I'm here. I just went to get my oils for the people who were interested in the chakra balancing line, because this is my favorite line. Isn't that pretty?
I'm gonna go ahead and put you on.
Oh, okay. Are we live? We're live. Hi, everyone. Yes. We're back. I just wanted to share with you my chakra balancing line because I didn't have them handy, and now I have them handy. So
you hit the mic mute.
Sorry.
You're good.
I'll start over. Hi, everyone. I went to get my chakra balancing line because it's one of my favorite lines, and it's definitely a top seller. And it looks like this. You can buy this cute little handmade wooden display that my sister-in-law makes by hand in California. She's a woodworker. And here's the I Am Grounded oil, which is great for grounding. It has red jasper in the bottle. And right here in this hole would be I Am Balanced, which is the super root chakra, which helps us connect to Gaia and the earth. And there's I Am Powerful, which is solar plexus. Anyways, you can get the whole kit just like this with 10 oils in it. Or you can get it in this cute little travel case. So you can also get a little travel case. All the oils go in these little sleeves right here. Or you can just put it on your pretty altar like this. So yeah, one for each chakra, because you never know which chakra is going to be out of balance that day. So it's kind of nice to have the kit.
And how much is the kit and the elixirs?
Great question. So normally these are $25 each. But if you buy 10, you get the whole kit. I knock them down to 20. So that's like 200, right? But then I give you a free bottle. So the whole kit's $180. So you're basically getting like 2 bottles for free. And this is what it looks like. There's a roller bottle right there. And you can see the crystals in the bottle. So again, it's a really high quality oil that I use. And There's a lot that goes into these. I make them all by hand, every single bottle.
Hey, blessings. Honestly, I love those type of things. They're awesome.
And I put, I infuse them all with my healing energy too before I release them out into the world. And the ladies in the chat room know I also make crystal bracelets that you can see online. And these are also for healing. And they carry the oils. These have diffuser beads where you can put the oils right on the bracelet and it holds the smell for like an extra 2 days.
And so that dives into my next question. These necklaces and bracelets, you use symbols on these?
Yeah, I use charms. I use charms. Sometimes it's love or Om, like I'll use the Om symbol a lot because Om is the sound of God. It's the frequency supposedly that was heard throughout the galaxy when worlds were created, right? It sounded like Om, and it just like kept going forever. It's an ancient Sanskrit sound. And this is the flower of life symbol. So I'll use sacred geometry on my bracelets or hearts or whatever. Like this is a rose quartz bracelet with hearts in it for self-love and compassion. I made this for myself on my birthday. And, it's just whatever you like. They're just there as tools to remind us that, we have the power to choose self-love, self-compassion, every moment of every day. And these are just like little reminders, little tools to help you on your spiritual journey. It's not that I'm saying like put all your focus and energy into this crystal or the crystals like super magical. They do have healing powers, but it's really about your intention. That's what makes the magic happen.
Well, I do know that the ancient cultures looked at crystals actually, yes, as magic. I did a podcast episode like a year ago on it, and cultures all around the world for ancient times, they said that they could protect us from spirits, they could change our frequencies, they could put us in different moods, help us find gold, money, and actually have some type of ability with us. And it's amazing. I mean, even the Om chant, it's very empowering when we have this honest, the imagery, the we might say law of manifestation, law of attraction with that. When we put ourselves in these higher dimensional states by adapting these, I literally like to call these higher dimensional imagery and higher dimensional symbols. Love is a very higher dimensional aspect of life. And, when we wear it, when we put it on us and, like a mantra, and we repeat it over and over again, our surroundings say it on the words, on our clothes. If we just have the idea, the image, whether physically or verbally around us at all times, it's going to be so empowering. I mean, even consciousness, the word consciousness, wisdom, and have something like Om, that's very empowering. That is very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say, like, we were talking about that grounding meditation earlier. If you're having a moment and you're getting triggered or you feel angry or you don't feel grounded or you feel like, oh, I just need some healing in this moment, you can sit and put your hand on your heart and just chant Om for 5 minutes. Like just the sound of Om, the frequency, like over and over again, it will bring you right back into center, right back into alignment, which is like if you do yoga at all, they usually either start the class with 3 ohms or they end the class with 3 ohms because it's very centering and grounding. And it's, I believe it's the sound of God. So you're basically calling in that God source divine energy, and you're also putting it out into the world. So kind of like the butterfly effect, it ripples out into the world and offers a higher frequency and healing energy.
And that allows us to really take control of our environment. I like to actually test my environment sometimes, and dabble with the forces of nature with my friends and family sometimes by just throwing out very empowering words and seeing what it happens in a very destructive conversation. And it's like throws people off sometimes, like what is this, why is this here? And then that changes things though. After an hour, it's like everybody starts getting, it's like, well, let's have a very empowering conversation, and you can take to the bank and really change your life, your family's life, our friends' life. And well, I wanted to go ahead and discuss what you thought about our human nature. When we talk about starseeds and just humanity in general, who do you think we are? Where do we come from, and what our mission is?
Yeah, that's a really big, deep question.
No, definitely.
Yeah, I think, like if I was saying earlier, there's a lot of different players on the planet right now. I think that there's mostly like humans, starseeds, hybrids, and other, and let's just call them other. And I think that starseeds are here to lift humanity and lift the frequency on the planet and to help everyone go through this ascension process. And I think the humans are here to learn their life's lessons, go through their karma, learn why they incarnated in this lifetime, but also to anchor the energy on the planet. I think that it's a very grounding, anchoring energy that's necessary here. And, and then the others, I think, are here just to like mess with us and try to, keep us in a lower vibrational frequency, because like you mentioned earlier, the loosh, they feed off of our loosh, or maybe they're trying to take over the planet, or maybe they were here first. Like, we just don't really know, because the truth has been hidden from us for so long. But I feel like the truth is really coming out now. Like, there's so many people waking up on TikTok. Like, I'm so proud of everyone because, I started the Ascension Sessions, my YouTube channel, in 2017. So 5 years ago, and nobody was talking about ascension except like the first wave light workers, like the people you'd see at Conscious Life Expo, who'd been there since the 80s, and now everyone's talking about ascension and spirituality and starseeds and consciousness and raising the planet's vibration. And I'm just so happy. Like, I'm so proud of everyone for doing their work and waking up and listening to their own inner divinity and taking part and taking responsibility for their frequency. Like, so many people are like, what's the word? They're like consciousness responsible, they're like, they look at themselves. If there's a trigger or there's an issue or there's a conflict, they're going, what's my part in this? What did I do? What can I learn from this experience? And it's that conscious mindset that's helping us evolve as a planet, and not just being reactive and not just blaming the other person immediately or being defensive. So obviously, like, there's still people who need to get to that state of awareness, but I feel like so many more people are there now on the planet, and they're showing up and they're sharing and they're teaching others. And I know there's a lot of like people who don't like TikTok because of the China, it comes from China. They're supposedly spying on our phones and downloading every bit of information from our phones. But, you don't think Zuckerberg's doing that? You don't think Google's doing that? I think they're all doing that. Apple, Google, Facebook, they all are, watching us. You were mentioning the frequency that comes off of our phones. I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you take your phone at night and you look at yourself in an infrared camera, like if you have a baby monitor or a Ring camera and you put it on black and white mode and you turn off all the lights in your room, there's a flash that's emitted off your phone, like I'd say every 3 to 5 seconds. So we can't see it with the naked eye, but my infrared camera picked it up and it's constantly doing this. Bing, 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 because it's looking for that facial recognition, you know, like what unlocks your phone. But who knows what else it's doing? You know, it could be programming us on some subconscious level that we're unaware of because it's a light that's flashing in your retina. So I just went off on a tangent again, but
No, absolutely. To mention something else along with that, I actually do know of our phones have this ability to actually pick up on these sounds and vibrations around us and create this 3D digital map. And you know, in real time at all times, it doesn't even need the camera. Like, yes, it uses the camera for clarification and, you know, for to take screenshots and proof and all that. But it also, through its audio and it's like the, you know, because some of these phones, they can check weight pressure, right? So it just checks all these different things and it creates this 3D digital map and 3D surrounding. It can predict where you're at, predict what you're doing, and send out frequencies to alter us in all these different alpha, beta, and delta, gamma, all these different freaking brainwaves. Our phones can actually go into those same patterns and you know, feed us things, which is where a lot of people are like, oh man, I need to check my Twitter. I know sometimes I'll be like that if I'm in a low state, if I'm you know drinking too much or you know not having enough water, you know, my phone will flash. I'm like, you know, or my phone will like speak to me sometimes. But I mean, we could use these things to benefit us. So, look, I'll be real. We do talk about all sides of the coin here, and I'm not trying to get dark with this, but we could use these technologies for our benefit. I mean, personally, I think that it's a light. It could be used as a lightweight. What I'm about to say, like, so these phones have cords and they have this electrical signal. They're attached to this satellite and AI, and these phones are attached to a very conscious network that is literally living right next to us, like a parallel dimension. And when I'm in a very meditative state, I can actually like tap into these phones and like read things and like, you know, scour the internet and like do things. I know that other people, you know, deeper magic workers, they're able to do things. Scrying. I know scrying is a very popular and ancient method of looking into a abysmal type of object, a mirror or a black device, obsidian or crystals. You can actually scry with crystals and, you know, go into these other dimensions. There is also, you know, like me clairvoyantly, like if I'm like really high, I'll be, you know, talking to my friends, and you know sometimes we'll, you know, how like you'll finish each other's sentences. I think that's also kind of a psychic thing, but for me, I also like, I'll know when I get a text. Like I won't even look at my phone, but like in my head it's like text incoming, boom, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can trust these things. So we shouldn't always be scared of these things. Yes, the EMF, oh man, it really is a harmful thing, but we touched it in the first hour. Like, you know, use these essential oils, use crystals, you know, practice a little bit of meditation and mantras, and we will protect ourselves. And, you know, personally though, I think that we should be looking to use these technologies to our advantages. I mean, the weaponry is already being used against us, but now let's use the weapon against them. As the Bible says, you know, when no weapon formed against us shall prosper. I think that, more times than not, me using this technology has been far more beneficial than it's actually harmed me. Well, they've shut me down with the algorithms a little bit. The Twitter files just came out, and you're absolutely right. All of these people, Zuckerberg, Twitter, Instagram, they are watching us. They are creating these like algorithms. But I think what lies ahead is definitely something that they can't control. The Great Awakening, perhaps, and that's where I want to take the next part of this combo. Where do you see society right now, and where do you see society in the future, and what can we do to best prepare ourselves?
Well, thank you for asking that question, because I wanted to touch on the whole AI agenda that you kind of alluded to without directly naming it. In this ascension, I feel like we're at this fork in the road, and people can either go into a crystalline Christ consciousness timeline, or they can go into an AI timeline. And I feel like, you were saying like you can read your phone, or when you have a text. That's because everything is frequency and energy. Again, back to that, everything is energy. So your computer has a frequency and energy coming off of it. And when you touch the keys on your keyboard, you're interacting with the AI consciousness. When you pick up your phone, you're interacting with the AI consciousness of your phone. And then, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten on TikTok and I'm seeing videos about what emotions are coming up for me. Like, that's really weird. I don't know how they do that. But I mean, they're creating AI filters now that look so real, you can't even tell it's a filter. So I wanted to touch on this whole like AI agenda, because the Galactic Federation and the powers that be, the unseen forces, they're really hoping we go into this AI timeline, because that's how they're going to control us. They're going to merge humanity with AI, because we'll be completely controllable. But that's not the timeline for me, and that's not the timeline I recommend. I recommend that everybody stay heart-centered and go on the crystalline consciousness timeline, which is where we remain sovereign beings, we remain organic beings, and we remain children of God as humans, starseeds and others. But we're like organic, we're not taken over. And with this whole thing that happened in 2020 and the forced, like, who's to say that there's not already AI in those, that they're already starting to change our genetic makeup, infusing us with AI. It's the beginning. It's like the beginning of the encoding, if you will. So where do I see humanity? I'd like to say that I see humanity on the organic Christ consciousness timeline. But we're literally, in a battle. We're in a battle for our souls right now. It's a battle between light and dark, and we have to decide which side we're on. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that things have to be dualistic in that way, because I believe in unity consciousness. I want to call in more unity consciousness. I think if like everybody on the planet meditated on unity consciousness for 1 hour on the same day, we would like shift this planet overnight in that 1 hour. You all right, man?
Yes, I love hearing this. It's very enlightening. I was thinking in my head, you mentioned the Galactic Federation. I talk about that a lot, and I really didn't know what side they were on. I kind of took
It's not good.
I kind of took a hint when the Vatican said that they talk to the Galactic Federation. I was like, if the Vatican talks to them, there's 99% chance that they're probably not good guys.
Yeah, they're not good.
In your opinion, so you can break it down to my viewers, who is the Galactic Federation, and what are these? What are the forces that are against us, and who are the forces that are helping us?
So I don't have claim to know like who the Galactic Federation is, but what I believe and what I've heard from other light workers who have one-on-one experience with them is that they're not who we think they are. They're not here for our good. They're here to usher in the AI timeline. And so people who channel will start channeling members from there, thinking like, oh, this is great, love and light, you know? But there's a lot of tricksters out there. There's a lot of trickster energy working with or merging with channelers, people who channel. And they think they're channeling, you know, light beings. Because if you hear like the Galactic Federation of Light, there's two. There's the Galactic Federation, the Galactic Federation of Light. So you have to be really careful, like who you're working with. I think the people that are helping us are the individual races from other star systems. So the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Sirians. I think that the Lyrans or Lyrians, however you say it, Lemuria, you know, Adama, and all of the Lemurians who are in Mount Shasta. I think they're all helping us. They're all higher dimensional beings who are here to help us remain sovereign and remind us that we have free will. And the only way we're going to like wake up fully to our sovereignty is to see through the veil and get out of this false matrix that we're in, you know, because people think that like we have a choice, we have freedom, but we don't really. We're, you know, we go to work for a paycheck to put a roof over our heads, to put food on our table. We have to do it. We have to do it to survive. So to me, that sounds like slavery. That doesn't sound like freedom. And we have the resources for freedom, but we're not in that society right now. Sadly.
I think that over thousands of years, humanity has dwindled and we've lost touch with nature. So, you know, with that, we've lost touch with power. If we can't control nature, how can we be powerful in it? And I just want to know, in your opinion, what is these other planets? You know, what are the other planets? Where are the other territories? There is, you know, speculation that, you know, this world is flat, and you know, when we look outside the Antarctica wall, we see these other territories or inner Earth. Where do you, from the stars, from Starseeds perspective and your perspective, what is this place?
I've heard about that theory. I've, you know, studied it a little bit. And so what you're referring to is that the Earth is flat and there's a dome over it. And next to what we call Earth, there's all these other worlds that are also flat with domes. Right? Is that what you're asking about?
Yes, there's also inner Earth, Agartha, you know, and there's also the halo-like structure that our planet, or is similar to like this torus field, and also, you know, this donut. There's also, you know, simulation. But in your opinion, what is this place, and where do these other beings come from?
The jury's not out yet for me on. I'm still more leaning towards we're a globe floating through space with a toroidal field. So the Earth is a conscious being. It has a toroidal field around it. It's also known as what is it called? It's like the Earth's, it's the thing that protects us from the sun rays, that we don't burn up from the sun rays, but it's like a protective layer around the Earth. It's also her aura or consciousness. I'm not sure about the flat Earth theory that there's a firmament and that there's these adjacent worlds, and that on the other side of the Arctic ice wall, that's where the other worlds are. I do believe in Agartha. I do believe in the inner Earth. I do believe that the original humans are down there. And I do think that when humanity's consciousness lifts high enough, that we will be able to interact with those beings again someday. But I don't think we're there yet. So it's confusing. It's very confusing. It's like, who knows? Because they won't tell us the truth. So there's all this speculation, and there's all these opinions. And
I kind of also want to find out what your interest was with these other dimensions. You know, we hear things about interdimensional travelers, extra-dimensional travelers, and then you look at some of the ancient cultures and them talking about dimensions, and this thing kind of nearly being like a simulation, and our planet having multiple dimensions. Above us there's other beings, below us there's other beings, another world above us, below us, and so forth. What do you think?
I do think that there are other dimensions, and that everything is happening now. Like, there's no past, present, and future. Like, time is a construct. It's a man-made construct. So I do think that there's multiple dimensions happening at the same time. I mean, people can astral project there. People have had meditations where they go into other dimensions and they see other versions of themselves. There's quantum jumping, which is where you can jump in. Like, I could jump into a Cheri in a different timeline who knows how to play the piano. I could download everything from that consciousness and then bring it into this reality, and I know how to play the piano just like that. That's a real thing that people are doing. So I do believe in the different dimensions. Could there be different realities, like, cities floating in the sky that we can't see? Sure, why not? I mean, the fairy realm, the fairies, the gnomes, the elves, the leprechauns, that whole elemental realm used to be in the same frequency and vibration as humans, and that's why we saw them. That's why they're in the legends, the storybooks, because we did interact with them in this reality. And I believe that they phased up, they phased out, up and out. So they ascended and we didn't. So that's why we can't see them anymore, unless we're gifted or we have clairvoyance, or some of the crystal children are seeing them and stuff like that. So I do believe that there are, things we can't see. I mean, you can talk to someone who's clairvoyant, who can see things that other people can't see, and then there's the whole avatar theory too, right? Like, if you're a starseed, your body is in a vessel or a device on a ship or on a planet, and we're coming in, we're beaming into this body, and we're moving, talking, walking, interacting, and then going back to our starseed selves in that other avatar or body, which is the true self. So there's that whole belief as well, which kind of makes sense in some ways too, for starseeds. And I wanted to show you guys this. We were talking about AI and organic timelines and EMF frequencies earlier. And this is an organite pyramid that you can buy. It's a passive EMF blocker. So you can put this in your house. I bought this one because it's like the mermaid realm. It's got seashells in it, and copper and resin, and it's also got sacred geometry in it. That's the Triskel or the triquetra. anyways, you can put these all over your house, and like this one is big enough to block EMFs for like my whole like 4 houses down in both directions. And I have these all over the house to help block the energies from the cell phones and the Wi-Fi router and the cell phone towers and 5G and all of that. So that might be something people might be interested in getting. You can get them on Amazon or Etsy. They're all over the place now.
Yes. How much are your pyramids and your elixirs?
I didn't make this. I bought this for my own personal use. You can get one this size. I think this was $100 or close to $100. You can get little tiny ones too, like this one. This one I got at ESETI Ranch. It's from Light in the Light, Michelle Hood, with copper on the bottom. But this one you can get for, less money, but it has citrine in it and sacred geometry also. So yeah, these you can get for different prices, probably anywhere from $20 up to $300. My oils, they're usually $25 each, but I am offering all your viewers a 10% off discount, which we put the promo code on the screen earlier, 509 Divine Pines. And the bracelets are all just different prices. So it depends on the stone that I'm using and how much work goes into it. But there's
Are the
something for
elixirs
everyone.
different than the oils? Yes.
No, the elixirs are the oils.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, on your website, you offer soul mentorships and wellness programs. Can you speak about that?
Wow, you're good with the questions. Yes. So I'm launching, we haven't talked about this yet. So I have been operating as Divine Light Quantum Healing for the past 3 years. And I just rebranded, and my new name is Divine Light Codes. And in that rebranding, I'm also going to be shifting things around with my offerings. And up until now, I've been offering like one-off healing sessions, like where you can just buy a healing session, as well as like a 3-package session. But moving forward as Divine Light Codes, I'm going to be offering more mentorship packages and programs. So it'll be like, I'll have a Starseed mentorship program where you come in, you get a Starseed reading, you find out, where your soul originates from. And I give you like a whole Starseed report. It's like a PDF document. And then in that, there's going to be a mentorship program to help you figure out your life's purpose and your path, your time on this planet, why you're here, what you're supposed to do. And also to help with healing, to help you get through the struggles that you may be dealing with as a Starseed, familiar challenges and societal challenges and stuff like that. And those packages will include oils and bracelets and healing tools that are needed for your specific situation. And then I'm also going to be offering like healing packages and space clearing packages as well. So people can come in and you get like a whole bunch of stuff in a package, or you can do a one-off session. But that's the direction that I'm moving in, and also going to be offering subscription programs for people who want like monthly maintenance healing, where maybe it's a shorter session, but it's more frequent. So you can keep your frequency high. You can clear things that may not have completely resolved yet. Sometimes there's like a little bit of residue, if you will, around a particular situation or emotion. If it's a really deep seated inner child core trauma, it's, we might have to work on that 3 or 4 times before it's completely healed. So those sessions and packages are kind of like geared for somebody who wants to work with me for like a 3 or 4 month duration, and do like more deep work. So that was a long answer, but that's the direction I'm headed in. And that's, my new service as Divine Light Codes is helping people on a deeper, lengthier amount of time, so we can really go deep and get to the core issues of their wounds and traumas.
And all of this is online, or do you offer anything in person?
Most of it is online. Those packages are not on my website yet, but they're coming. I'm in the middle of redesigning my website and transitioning everything over to Divine Light Codes. I do healing in person. There's my massage table right there. And so if anyone is in the Phoenix area, they can contact me for an in-person healing, which I do. I use sound healing and crystals and energy healing. It's a really nice experience.
Sweet. Well, so
wow, it's 2 hours.
Yes. So where do you think our energy should be focused on right now in 2023?
Right now, for the month of March, I would say grounding. I would definitely say, like, if your root chakra is not 100% perfect alignment and you don't feel grounded all the time, I would say definitely focus on grounding every day, every morning, maybe even in the evening at 6 o'clock when you go for a walk or take your dog for a walk or before you go to bed. Just do a little quick 5-minute grounding exercise. And if anyone's interested, I'm going to start doing grounding meditations on Zoom, because I feel like I want to help people learn how to go and do a really deep grounding meditation. So if you're interested, just put a comment in the chat room and let me know, and I'll, keep in touch with you about that. And then also, I think that people who are waking up and who really want to be of service to humanity need to like this is your time. Like, don't wait any longer. Like, do not pass go, just like get on your mission now, because things are going to start ramping up. And I don't know if you've noticed, but like, it feels like the days are going by faster now than ever before. Like, it feels like time has sped up. And so I feel like there's no time to wait. Like, you need to get on mission, get on point, get on brand, do your thing, do your work in the world, help people, help humanity, heal yourself so you can help others. I think that's really important right now. Thank you.
I agree. We in this day and age right now, it's more important and most important to protect ourselves, to strengthen ourselves, to get ourselves ready. I mean, look, honestly, 15 years ago, people were just really relaxed. I mean, 25 years ago, kind of relaxed. Yeah, like, there was still this energy to us that wasn't softened. I mean, it's weird, right? People are kind of soft these days, but they're really on edge. And 25 years ago, they weren't really that soft, but they were just relaxed. And so right now, yeah, we need to sharpen our iron. And I think what we've got going on is, for speaking of freaking psychic attacks, I'm getting this buzzing in my ear. We should be really, really taking control of our energy. Yeah, definitely. So I had some questions right here. Can we talk about the DNA reprogramming? What is that to you?
So it's one of the healing sessions that I offer, and it's a little bit lengthier. It's like 2 hours plus, and it's where we go in deeper to clear like limiting beliefs and old cellular programming that you may have from your parents or your grandparents or ancestry lineage. Like, for example, sometimes people will say, like they're really frugal with themselves. Like they make a ton of money, but they're still really frugal with themselves and they don't know where that comes from. And sometimes something like that could be something that was passed down from your ancestors. And so we go in and we do a release and then a reprogramming of the cells through the power of intentions, through the power of energy healing and words and stuff like that. So it's an energy session where if you really want to clear an old limiting belief or something that feels a little bit karmic or out of your control, or you get stuck in a habit or a pattern and you're like, oh, I just can't break this, self-sabotage pattern or whatever, self-worth pattern, that's when you want to do a DNA reprogramming.
I like to think that our DNA can be reprogrammed when we have deep enough meditations. I've heard that once you kind of tap into the higher realms, unlock your brain to some newer pathways or activate certain parts of your brain, or even, like take drugs like entheogens or these hallucinogenics. They're able to change your DNA. I would think that perhaps interacting with some of these higher realms and seeing entities would definitely change the DNA. I actually have heard that many of times in abduction cases that the people who have been abducted or have been around these entities like suddenly had just way different DNA. Like everything about them evolved into this newer being. Do you think that is like what's been going on forever? Like this is who we've been. We're constantly evolving, changing DNA, and upgrading is for millions of years. And how do we prepare for where we're evolving?
I do think that, there has been tampering with our physical DNA over the centuries, and even more recently with, abductions and stuff like that. I do think that there's DNA tampering happening. But the work I'm talking about is more like in the holographic DNA, which is the etheric or energetic DNA program. What was the second part of your question? Sorry, I lost it.
How do you prepare us? How should we prepare ourselves for where humanity is evolving? We see these things like all these planes in the sky, these GMOs, even the shoddy in our arm. It morphs our DNA, and where the agenda is headed. How do people prepare? Like, what should, in your opinion, should we not accept it? And personally, I know I want to evolve the natural way, but some people want to evolve the unnatural way.
Well, I think that naturally our DNA is going to evolve anyways, because I guess we have like a 12-strand DNA, but only 2 strands are active right now because our DNA was tampered with and they shut off a bunch of the telomeres, which are like the things that connect, right? And so I think that as we ascend and we become higher consciousness beings, we're going to be reconnecting those telomeres and we're going to be evolving. I'm not sure what the more recent DNA tampering looks like. Like, I don't have a feeling they're turning on those telomeres that have been disconnected. I don't think that's what they're doing. But I do think that we have the ability to do that through becoming higher consciousness beings. In terms of what the future looks like, that's a really hard one to say in terms of our DNA. I'm hoping that we get everything turned back on so that we can be 5D high consciousness beings and be in unity consciousness. Like, that's the ultimate dream. You know, I always say, like, if you can imagine a world where everybody's psychic and everybody can read each other's aura, like in a split second, and read each other's thoughts, crime goes away, because you can't lie to someone, they'll know you're lying. You can't steal from them because they'll know you stole from them. You know what I mean? It's like we all will really become each other's mirrors, because we'll just see each other so purely and so cleanly. And that's ultimately what I'm hoping Earth turns into.
And to get there collectively, we have to detach from these older energies. Do you like to look at this as the Great Awakening, or how do you see this?
Yeah, I think we definitely are going through the Great Awakening. Like, this is the Aquarian age. You know, this is what they sang about in the 70s and the 60s. And as the planet moves through this part of the galaxy, and we're moving into higher frequency light codes, we're getting upgraded through the light codes that are coming in right now from the Grand Central Sun and our sun. And so I do believe that we're moving in that direction, you know, physically, like through the ascension. I mean, you could call it a conspiracy theory, but like, why do they spray chemtrails every day? You know, are they blocking out the light codes that are coming down, upgrading us? Are they simply spraying chemicals in the air to weaken us and dumb down our immune systems? Are they doing weather modification, or all of the above? We don't know, but we know something's going on. And that's why we have to, like, keep fighting the good fight, you know, and keep doing our own work in the world and raising our own frequency and vibration, because it just takes one person, you know, like if everybody just took accountability and raised their own frequency and got clean, ate a pure diet, you know, got off all drugs and addictions, meditated, connected with their source energy, we would be incredible divine light beings. So that's where I hope we're going, Joseph.
Hey, I think that we are. I'll be honest. It's kind of rough to say, but I think birds of a flock stay together.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Whatever. Yeah. So, well, I think that, you know, over these next few years, we're going to start seeing more and more people shine together, bond together, you know, a spiritual revolution, or just a conscious revolution. I think collectively we are all making a difference. I know just over the last few years, I've had more and more people speak up about what they agree with what I post. You know, I've been posting the same things, not necessarily the same exact post, but I've been exposing the system for like 10 years and talking about this throughout all my shadow band pages. And, you know, for the longest time, people were kind of shy about it, but now it's like just more and more people popping up and, you know, having this braveness, this strength inside of them, more God or just more information. I think it's kind of a mix of both. And yeah, like it's always a survival of the fittest, and nature is not kind. If we're gonna be honest, we'll allude to something we said earlier back in this world. Like we don't even know if this world is ours. It could be fallen angels. It could be some other entities, and we're just playing along, trying to help do our part. Make a better song. And with that, we're at about 2 hours. We can go ahead and take a break. I got a few more questions, and then we can head off for the night if that's fine. Or we can save that for another day. What do you want to do?
I think I'm probably good for like one more question. It's a little bit later here than over there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did want to ask about your 90-minute contact in Joshua Tree.
And
your experience.
That was in Shasta, actually. So in Contact in the Desert in Joshua Tree, I saw, an indigo blue orb fly across the sky with a bunch of other people. So I wasn't the only one who saw it. I also had
what did you feel? What did you feel there? Did you feel the energies?
It was so fast. I mean, it was like literally just like a blip, So I didn't feel the energy, but I felt like, wow, that was amazing. That was awesome. Because on the way there, I wasn't driving and we had the sunroof open. And I remember I was just like looking up at the sky and I saw a ship like going in the same direction of my car. So that was kind of like my first sighting. And then I got to the actual event and I saw that blue orb flash across the sky. And that was amazing because it was like, okay, that was definitely a ship. It wasn't an airplane. It wasn't a tiny little dot in the sky. It was big and everybody saw it. So that was amazing.
Were there any channeled messages? I know sometimes beings like to channel messages into you.
No, not at that time. I was pretty new to my awakening back then. That was probably like 2013 or 2014. And then we did a meditation that was led by Stephen Greer. I don't remember if it was that year or a different year, but my friend, we were all meditating, and my friend, she astral projected up onto a ship that was hovering right above all of us, and it was a mantid being ship. And she said that when she popped in, they saw her. They all turned and looked at her like, what are you doing in our ship? And then she just blipped out. So there was definitely a lot of contact stuff happening at that event. But the 90-minute event that you asked about was in Mount Shasta. And that was, I believe, 2017 or 2018. 2018. And you can go watch the video. It's on my YouTube channel, the Ascension Sessions. And we were just parked right next to a field, kind of in the residential part of Mount Shasta. And we were watching the skies. And we saw this mothership go up above Mount Shasta. And then over the course of 90 minutes, a bunch of smaller ships followed it. So we saw the first ship go up, which was a bright pink fuchsia color, and it was rotating. It was alternating colors. It was fuchsia, cyan, white, fuchsia, cyan, white. So it was a light ship. And then we saw all these other little tiny, smaller lights go up, and they were all going in the same direction. So we saw a whole fleet basically leave the mountain and go up into the same direction. And so I was videotaping and doing photography, night photography. So I was able to capture a lot of it. And if you zoom into the photos, they just look like orbs. They're just white light orbs. So, we didn't see physical metal ships, but we saw light ships. And then here's the weird part. And that night we did feel things. We looked up, there was this really bright star above us the whole night, and we took a picture of it. And later on, I zoomed in and analyzed it. and it looked like the bottom of a ship. It was like this organic, really weird round shape. And so I'm pretty sure there was like a ship above us the whole time, which was crazy. And my son was there. He was really young, and he was getting freaked out. He was like, "Mommy, we gotta go. We gotta go." Like he just felt something was off. So it was kind of an interesting experience. You could definitely feel the energies.
Yeah, usually you have these all-day occurrences, some signs, maybe some type of dream clairvoyance, and you just know that there's some type of energy that lay ahead that's not from this world. And particularly when you mentioned Stephen Greer, yeah, that guy, he's definitely well known for that. How impactful was that? Does he make like everybody in his meditations experience? Is it like 100%? Everybody experiences and sees something?
I mean, that's what he claims when he does his like more intimate meditation call in the ship, SETI 5 contact or whatever it's called. That's what he claims. This was a lot of people. It was probably like 200 people, 300 people. And unfortunately, there was like this big tent above us. So we couldn't see the sky unless you were on the edge. And so like, who knows what was up there? But yeah, he's an interesting being. I've seen him speak in person at least 2 or 3 times. And yeah, I don't want to say anything, but he's a really interesting person.
He's out of this world, I think. He's definitely out of this world.
He's definitely not a human. Like he's not,
Well, I do think that there is actively.
He's a human, but his soul is,
No, I mean, I'll be honest. I do actively think that ever since the 1900s, early 1900s, even the mid 1900s, 1950s, our governments are making contracts to bring in other entities, and what we're seeing over the last 100 years is not just the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and their destruction. It's like there's a whole other side to this, and there are some good people. I mean, what do you think? Do you think he's a good guy, Stephen Greer? Yeah,
good. He's a really hard one to pinpoint because I have this ability where I can see what realm people are from, and he's definitely from a realm that we don't consider the good guys. However, I've seen him cry on stage. I've seen his compassionate side. I've seen his good side. So it's really a mixed message to me because I'm like, either you're really fooling me right now, or you're just this like oxymoron. I don't know. It's really hard to pinpoint. And I don't want to say much about him in a public forum because I don't know him personally. I just know what I felt in my intuition and what I saw with him display on stage.
Well, all right. So this kind of references something like in the ancient cultures, there's, a mix of demons and angels on earth, and they all have their own like attitudes and emotions. And yeah, like if there were other species and other beings and other type of creatures or energies that lay here, like those type of energies, those trickster type of energies might be there. I personally always thought he seemed just not human. I mean, I'll be honest. I'll be real. Like Elon Musk does not seem human. Joe Biden does not seem human. And all right, this gets into what I wanted to talk about. Well, what did you experience in the psychic attacks and the dark nights of the soul?
You are so good with these questions. What did I experience? I experienced a lot of pain. a lot of discomfort, physical symptoms, like migraine headaches, feeling like a dagger in my eye or in my back, lethargy, like all my energy was just completely taken from me, anxiety. One dark night of the soul, I felt like I wanted to jump out of my skin. Like it was so uncomfortable. I just wanted to jump out of my skin, and I didn't know how to do that. So that was challenging. Yeah, so psychic attacks are not fun because they're definitely physical. Like you could feel it. I had another one. I was doing an interview of a pretty high ET connection guy who was a remote viewer. And like 2 hours before the show, I got a psychic attack because they didn't want me to interview him. And I had to like jump in a bath of Epsom salts and clear it. And that's the only thing that works for me is Epsom salt baths with a lot of salt. And then I had to do this like clearing ritual to remove whatever. And that worked. And I came out of the bath and I was like a new person. So if anyone ever gets a psychic attack, hop in the bath with 2 pounds of Epsom salt and just pray. Pray to your archangels or your spirit guides or whoever you work with. And if that doesn't work for you, then contact an energy healer or somebody who can remove lower frequency energies around you.
And these things might be caused by succubuses or reptilians. What do you think it is?
Yes, all of the above. I don't want to name them because I don't want to attract that energy right now, but I believe that when you talk about them, you're like calling them in. So I don't want to give them any power right now, but yes, it's all of those things.
All right. Okay. Hey, so yeah, it's been about 2 hours. We can go ahead and wrap this up. I definitely want to talk again. We'll keep in touch.
Can I add one more thing about the psychic attacks?
Oh yeah, I guess I'll ask some more questions too. No,
well, just let me say one more thing, and that's that you have to be really careful with your intentions because words have so much power. And when you put emotion behind those words, it's like sending a direct energy weapon towards someone. So if someone's really angry with you and they have ill intent towards you and they're thinking negative thoughts about you, or maybe even verbalizing or vocalizing those things out loud, if they already have dark entities attached to them, like let's say they're alcoholics, and I believe that all alcoholics have spirits around them all the time. They can send those DEMONSs after you, and they will be the ones who kind of initiate that psychic attack. So if you're angry at somebody, be really mindful with how you're directing your energy at them because they might feel it, so you may not intentionally mean to hurt that person or want to hurt that person, but by thinking negatively about them and directing that negative energy at them, you could be hurting them. So if it's someone you love, don't do that. It's really bad. Like everything is energy. Again, I'll say it one more time. Everything is energy. And you don't know like who's around you, especially if you're not a light worker, you're not a healer, you're not really into the woo-woo. We just don't pay attention to those things, but they all have power. So just be really careful.
I agree. Words are changers of the universe. I think that we are co-creators of this world just with our sound and our voice. We're able to literally access higher dimensions and change the nature of our animals, our relationships. We can command not us, but humanity can command a town or a nation's army to go overthrow another nation, and it's like, we kind of just don't see the same thing with the animal world. And humanity is very powerful. We like to be tricked. We like to be tricked in Hollywood that we're weak, we're not powerful, our words are not effective. But that's not true. That's all brainwashing. We are very unique. We are very powerful. Our words do matter. And every moment we are on this planet, we can help, maybe change the dimensions around us, the emotions around us, inside of us and our families, and the direction in which we are headed. It's a great time to change with this age of information, the age of Aquarius. We can shift and transform, evolve, all to our own desire. With me and myself, I spend trillions of questions on Google, and I get answers. And I ask a lot of questions too. And you can use those type of things to evolve. You don't have to be society just doesn't have to be stuck in a rut, and you don't have to see your family. For my viewers right here, you don't have to see your friends or family stuck in a rut. I know we're all breaking out of the matrix together, so most of the time our viewers are going to take this home and change their reality. Have beautiful words every day. I like to get on Snapchat or Instagram stories sometimes, and I'll just say, hey, have a great day, everybody, I love you guys. And like, some people are like, wow, they're like, okay, well, thanks, I guess. Like, they don't hear it. People are so confused by it, but it's very empowering, so like, I don't really hear it that often told to me. So when I have it told to me, like, hey, have a great day, it's actually very uplifting. And imaginably, it's the same way everywhere you go. And with that, all the other words that come along, all the other good things and ideas, prayers, mantras, images, sounds, music, movies, books.
And also be careful what you tap into and watch. It's called a program for a reason. Like, if you're trying to raise your frequency, don't watch something scary or dark, because you're going to go into that fear, lower frequency. And everything has power, because your mind doesn't know what's real and what's like a movie. The subconscious doesn't know anyway. So your subconscious is reacting to those emotions that the movie is putting out, or the TV show, or the podcast. So yeah, thank you for what you're doing. It's awesome that you started your own podcast, and you're talking about all these things. So that's awesome. You weren't doing that when I met you 3 years ago.
No, but I did always have it in mind. I was always the one in my friends' circles and, kickbacks, we were all hanging out, who was just always talking about these subjects. To be like, dude, why don't you do something with it? Write a book, or, have their own talk show. I was like, psh, way back in the day. But no, I mean, honestly, I appreciate it. Thank you for finding this information enlightening. And to add on, some of these movies, though, I do find it, though, that we can't defeat the devil if we don't know the face of it. So, I'm not saying love the horror movies and Insidious and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but some of these shows, like Stranger Things, they're kind of revealing,
but okay, here's the hook about Stranger Things. So seasons 1 and 2 were like watchable. They were a little bit dark, but not super dark. They were more like innocent because they were kids and stuff. But then season 3, they like ratcheted up the darkness, and the kids were older. And I was like, I'm out. I can't watch it anymore.
Oh, you didn't watch season 4?
No way. It
Oh,
just
you
got
would have
too
blew your
dark.
mind. You would have freaking passed out. You would have been like, "What is this?"
No,
Honestly, it got
but that's what I
so
mean.
crazy.
That's what I mean. So they like lure you in, and then they get you hooked, and then next thing you know, you're watching like this really dark show, and you start to like feel it. Like I was feeling uncomfortable in my body, and I was like, "That's it. I'm out.
Well,
I'm not watching this anymore."
I'll be honest. When
So
we
you have to, and you know who else did that? American Horror Story. Same
oh yeah, I
thing.
hear that stuff is dark.
Seasons 1 and 2 or whatever were bizarre and weird, but they weren't what they became. And that show is probably the darkest show of all history. I mean, I stopped watching it after like season 2 or 3. I can't remember back in the day, but that's what they do. They lure you in, they get you hooked on the show, and then next thing they're exposing you to all this darkness. So you have to be able to walk out when it gets uncomfortable. Just cut it off.
Right, but you know, we do see though that even in ancient times, with the worship of God, and you know, he commanded the slaughter of all the evil dudes. I mean, but then we look at those dudes back in the day; they were doing a whole bunch of crazy blood worship. So like,
Yeah, but that's a whole other show, Joseph.
Oh yeah, no. So what I'm saying, no, we're not trying to. What I was about to say though is that gore and some of these topics, they're just part of humanity. And yes, some of the Hollywood shows, they are very bad and very dark, but
they're part of medieval humanity. They're part of primal humanity, and humanity needs to lift, and we need to become better than that.
Yes. That is what I want to end on with. Some of these shows, though, there is an enlightening note that we can find. Like, you know, pull the information out of anything that you have around you, and when you can, try to make sure the information is positive. The media, your friendships, and you know, this podcast is definitely positive for you. With that, Cheri, where can we positively find you, and what type of events are you going to be found at?
You're so funny. Yeah, so you can find me on divinelightcodes.com or cheriarellano.com. I had my name up there, but it looks like you took it down because the spelling is wacky. My name is hard to spell. I'm also on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. I have a Telegram group if you guys want to join. It's Divine Light Codes 1. And shows. I'm going to be at the Ascension Retreat in Sedona, March 17th through the 19th. So that's going to be awesome. It's going to be a really big event. There's a lot of big names. I think like Billy Carson and Matt Kahn and like a whole bunch of people are going to be there. Vivian Chavette. So Ascension Retreat in Sedona in March. And then I'll be at the Soul Search event in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is coming up in April, I believe. And I'll be on another podcast in March, on March 22nd. It's called like Empowering Women. So that's going to be an interesting show as well, because it's all about female entrepreneurship who are spiritual. So if you're into that kind of thing, check that out. I'll put everything on my website in the blog section if you guys don't want to remember all this, or you can also follow me on social media and I'll be posting it as there. Definitely look me up on TikTok. That's where I post the most now, just because I feel like that's where I can be my most authentic self and reach the people who need the help the most. So thank you for having me on your show, Joseph. This is a lot of fun, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Honestly, it's been a blast tonight, and it's been an absolute blessing. I'm sure all of my viewers and all of your viewers love this. And hey, guys, share this far and wide. You guys will thank us later for all the amazing chatter that you get with this conversation with your friends and family when they play this along with you.
Yes,
hey, Cheri.
Absolutely.
You have a great
and
night.
go check out my YouTube channel too, the Ascension Sessions.
You guys go ahead and check out our channel. Hey,
alrighty.
Peace and blessings, and I'll talk to you later. We'll have you on again.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful night. Bye, everyone.
Yes. Be blessed and be high. Hey, guys. It is time for a quick little song. So you guys just hold on. I'll be right back.
Gonna go far, that's what we on the run for, go hard. Sipping gin while we sitting, spitting those bars. Getting rich, got a vision, get the show cards. Lot of money laying around cause we go hard, always go hard. Spitting fire, see the sonar, hope they resonate with the vibe. Feel like Mozart, really I'm alive in my soul, feel like Mozart. That's what hoes are, too explosive so I show art. Yeah, I make art, sad to see people with no heart. I work to replace all of the negative, I go far with it. I'ma show all of these bitches, no complaining if you with it. Don't you dream me, see the vision, need my energy, the mission. Really take all my precision. Every single day I picture where I'll be the day we get it. Feed the brothers, feed the fam. I don't really give a damn. I don't wanna get famous, I wanna lend a hand. Give the cash and rubber bands to the people always standing on my side, always down to ride, say I planned it. I'm the guy, like the supersized on the planet. In my mind, I don't gotta try, I already have it. I'll be doing damage, I was born a savage. In my mind, I already died, living lavish. Heaven is a state of mind, be glad if you have it. Living in a simulation, be patient to grab it. Universe will bring it to you if you ain't an average. If you live an average, then Satan found to manage your life. I'm just trying to tell you, if you gonna roll the dice, gamble in your life instead of living precise. I ain't perfect, but I'm gonna earn it. No, it don't concern anybody but my person. Lesson that I learned is that people are gonna burn. Anything you do, they gonna pay the price. Nothing nice come in life for the dipshits. They just wish shit, never gonna manifest it. Never catch me resting, short-term blessings. I just want my brain to work so I can write my next hit. Ignite the blessings, manifest my life, never question a moment in my life. I be knowing that it's meant to be, this my destiny. All the rest of my life really history. The day that I'm finally gone, they'll be missing me. Your position be the reason that I'm gone. 200 songs done, I've been on the run. I ride a wave, make a way, I'm the one. I stay the same, but I'm changing a ton. Rearranging my brain for the gains through the sun. I've been absorbing the light, I could say that I won. At least I'm conscious of what I'm doing, praying a ton. Relay all the information, staying patient with the shit. I write a hit just to get through all the shit. I ain't a bitch, so I'll make it. I ain't dealing with the prick, I'm finna take over the game. Really, I'm getting in, I'm really glad that you're here to witness it. I'm about to fix entire rap game. You could call it magic like a trick. Classic with the way I spit it. They be clapping when it hits. I be snapping on this shit. I've been rapping, feeling lit. I'm
All right, guys. Hey, I am going to just say there's a lot going on in the world, and we can do our best to just stay adamant. Don't be dual. You know, information, yourself, your surroundings, you know, stay fresh, stay sharp, and stay strong. We don't really know what to trust because of the way Fox and CNN and the mainstream news has collectively just made things very untrustworthy, right? But no. Like, the internet can be used for good, and a lot of the information that is being used to uplift people is very true about who we are, our human nature, what we can do to empower ourselves, who the forces are that are against us. Do not be afraid to seek new wisdom, for these things shall guide us in our path, strengthen our future, and assure our victory over ignorance. Ignorance is a fool's best friend, and they have a very short life. Now, for us, the knowledge that is gained can really help keep us enduring in this life. And we should not be afraid to speak up, have these conversations. You know, some of us are a bit more adamant than others, and, you know, that is something that is rare, but we should all still have some type of strength in us. I know when we were in the schoolyard, we didn't just let the bully be a bully to us. We stood up, we said something, no matter where we go. You cannot just be bullied and bullied, all right? None of us. And our bodies, we should be very adamant. It's the thing that's keeping us alive. It is what puts us to sleep at night and what we wake up in the morning. It's going to be our soul's best friend for as long as we're here on earth. And you're only as good as your body's worth. And so every day, do whatever you need to do in order to stay renewed, stay fresh, stay healthy, do your best at least. You know, you don't have to be a health freak and gym rat like me, but hey, like, at least try. You know, don't be that guy or that girl who doesn't tell their friend, like, you know, that shit's bad for you. Like, I probably have a lot of friends who hate me because I'm like, yo, that shit's bad for you. And they're like, psh, psh, so what? But no, be that guy. Who cares? Like, if you can't, like, tell your friend to not eat some cancerous food, are you really their friend? Are you really looking out for yourself or even your friend's best interest, your family's best interest? I mean, even just a few workouts or generating some type of movement goes a long way. And I always like to think that just 100 years ago or so, and before that, humans were very fit. We were always moving, walking, running, gardening, harvesting. We were living outside in nature, exploring, walking for miles, and just getting our hands dirty. Nowadays, it's like people want convenience. Order that fast food here, bring it here. Then you want to get in their car, and when they do get in their car, they don't want to get off of it until they're home again. You know, people take their body and their time on Earth and their life force, their ki, their prana for granted. And it's been an issue over the last 4 years. What we see is not for us to be feared. It's literally just for us to not be here. The population agenda, some would say, and that is in the proof of the pudding. So it's not just a speculation. So do your best in order to keep this vessel you got strong, sharp, and your friends, family, same with it. Even your animals. Personally, man, I don't like to feed my animals anything that's GMO. I notice instantly when, like, someone feeds them something that really isn't organic, one of their bones or whatever, whatever, or their snacks. You can definitely tell my animal doesn't like it. My dog don't like it. My dog will go for that organic snack. What do you think our bodies are doing? Like, our bodies are rejecting all that GMO shit. And, that's probably why a lot of people are constantly having to throw up in order to stay skinny. I can't believe that. Now, spiritually, stay adamant. Like, for real. No joke. Stay adamant. Stay sharp with it. Who we are spiritual beings in a physical vessel. Our spiritual practices are very important to our future. The ritualism that we practice can literally dictate our lives. Some people can get rich, some people can stay alive, some people can stay healthy and figure out the future down to a decimal, get messages, and we wouldn't really be able to experience these other dimensional things, these astral things, these ethereal things, be protected on an ethereal plane, or stay guided by spiritual forces above if we didn't take our ritualism and our spirituality serious. Like I had mentioned earlier in this podcast, when I wasn't praying, I felt like shit. I'll be honest. Like, I felt like there was no protectors, even though I knew it wasn't true. I just felt like it. Like, how about this? I felt like the aura around me was penetrable when I wasn't praying. Now that I'm praying, and now that I use crystals and put myself in a more acceptable mind state and spiritual state for God to be pleased instead of in a very bad state, I feel more connected, more important, happier. Like, life comes to me now. And throughout this year, the time is speeding up. And so with that, we must understand, we must speed up, we must be stronger, we must be sharper. And, every day take ourselves to new heights. Push ourselves, push your friends and your family, create new records. If you can think of this as a gym sense, create a PR. Do one thing nice tomorrow, then do 2 things nice the next day, 3 things nice the next day, then switch it, or however it may be. Constantly keep pushing yourselves to be better. And with that, I will be back tomorrow. You guys have a great day. We will see you. Well, I will see you. I guess my dog here too. We'll see you guys another day. All right, I'll be back with the news tomorrow and a little bit of Zed's history. Yes. Just talking about some history and talk about some of the systems against us, I guess. That's what we do around here. We talk about the good stuff. You guys have a great night. Thank you for being here. Also, check out my sponsor at naturalaction.com. Use coupon code 509 DP-10 for orders 2,500 or less, and use coupon code 509 DP-20 for 20% off orders 2,500 or more. For water ionizers that'll keep you fresh, keep your water to the tippy top quality, and it'll really revolutionize the way that you understand water energy. If you take time to visit his website, he breaks it down all for you. But get those water ionizers and water mineralization drops. You'll feel great. And last but not least, go over to boomerboost.com and use coupon code Joe30 for 30% off your order of vitamins, supplements, premium nutrient blends that'll take your gym experience or your daily life to the next level. It's been formulated essentially for old men. That's why it's called Boomer Boost. But, you know, these days, everything can be multidimensional. So they went ahead and made it friendly for young people. These are all organic nutrients. It has barley as one of its main products. And you know, barley has been mentioned in the Vedic text, it's been mentioned in the Bible, it's been mentioned for a long time as a powerful tool. The gladiators ate barley, and one of their blends is gladiator barley. So go check it out. These guys know what they're doing. They're spiritually based, physically and mentally focused. So they're just like me. They cover all three subjects, the mind, body, and soul, and they want you to do the same thing and glow. Also, hey, you know, you can't even forget, visit divinelightcodes.com and use coupon code 509 Divine Pines for 10% off your order. All right. She has crystals, essential oils, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff that you can check out. She will help you stay grounded and focused and blessed in these dark times. But go to her page and you will find the light. Remember, we are not anything if we do not have control of ourselves and our spirits. And with that, my friend, you guys have an amazing night. Good night. God bless. Be blessed and be high. See ya.
Meditating, analyzing everything I see, so I see new horizons. Took the acid, feeling blasted in my brain, so I've been sitting up inside it, thinking about the present and the future. I'm improving cause I am a trooper, never getting caught up in the loop. Got up out it cause I found the truth. Woke up to a beauty of the day, the sun is shining, so I'm finna stay. Sitting, soaking up all of the rays, till I feel it surging through my brain like some booger sugar. Did a lot of cane, experimented with it, couldn't name all the times I did it, feeling like a fade. Yeah, I'm really glad that I let it go, cause I gotta be prepped for the time when the plane ride is a new norm. So I know I'm gonna stay high, blaze on the ganja, feeling like I make my music go to another level while I take off. I can't ever stop this, fell in love with it, fit like a glove, so I'm never ever done with it. So now I'm about to rip another beat, ayy. One day I'll make a million in a week, yeah, shooting for the top spot. Feel like I'm a hot shot, like I really got a chance with it. I will not flop, somebody gonna make a dance when I pop off. Gonna have all the bitches taking all the tops off. I've been feeling like I'm really gonna kill it for the rest of my life, so I've been staying focused. In my soul, I've been feeling like $1 million, so I know that everything is really getting closer. Yeah, no posers, only been hanging with the ones I've chosen. Only all the people that are living in the right way, cause they spending every day growing. Yeah, no whole shit coming in my life and then leaving in a moment. That's the shit I'll never let into my life again, cause lately I've been feeling like I'm golden. Never showboat, I just showcase on my music that I made this far. Always knew that I could be the one that would get this far. Now I'm right here looking in my mirror, trying to figure out if there's any more fear, cause I'm getting rid of it all, yeah, I'm getting rid of it all. Meditating, analyzing everything I see, so I see new horizons. Took the acid, feeling blasted in my brain, so I've been sitting up inside it, thinking about the present and the future. I'm improving cause I am a trooper.